Alright, so we're back on the Eico 221 vacuum tube voltmeter. I did the complete reconstruction of it using the construction manual. I had stripped it all the way down. As you guys can see, I actually cleaned my workbench off for once too. Completely stripped it down and started from scratch. It's not complete right at the moment, only because this particular pot right here is supposed to be a 2K pot, and it's not. Whoever was in here, and you can see I didn't solder the wires to, I just have them sitting there so I know where they go. And this strap is a ground strap that I made to ground that. That particular pot showed that it was supposed to be grounded, have a ground strap, but obviously there wasn't one with it. I found a couple other issues with it besides everything I'd showed you guys. This could never have worked because basically one wire was completely missing, a very important wire. This black wire right here, if I can get my finger on it, right here, never existed. Nobody had ever soldered one to that terminal, and it was clearly supposed to have one. That wire comes up here, right here. But anyway, using the construction manual, all new components, I used 1% precision resistors, 1 watt resistors throughout. Most of these required teaming them up in series to get the exact ohmage that they were supposed to have. You can see here, these are in series right here. A lot of these are in series, most of these are in series. So anyway, I have all new wiring, all new capacitors, all new resistors, and even a new bulb in there. So right now it's about done electrically. I may still run a ground wire right here. This is for the common. It didn't show it in the construction manual, but it's obvious it needs one. They had a whole bunch of mess wrapped around that, and I cleaned all that off, and I soldered this brass washer onto it and drilled a couple holes. I think what I'm going to do is run a ground wire from there to here, because this is ground here. Just pulling the ground off of the chassis, but I'll just run a wire there. I think it'll be quick and easy. The other thing that I noticed, I had showed you guys as upside down, but this was a hole that wasn't supposed to be there, and the guy had put a slide switch in there. And still deciding what I'm going to do with that. I might see if I have a piece of brass I can polish and insert from the back side with a couple of brass screws just to clean it up. But he also had this hole, and what he had done was he had added a second jack, 1/4 inch jack, right here, and he was using this switch to change between this jack and this jack. I don't know why he was doing that, unless there was something wrong with this jack. There's nothing wrong with the jack itself, but it's very well possible that the whole thing was wired incorrectly, because it was wired incorrectly. So I think what I'm going to do is put a 2 amp fuse holder in it like I do on all my radios, because this really does need to be fused. So that's probably what I'll do. Unfortunately, I'm out of them right now, but I'll get one and we'll stick it in there. So I'm waiting on that potentiometer. As you can see, I cleaned everything up, polished everything. The little jewel for the light and the bezels, like jewelry, and the on-off switch was terrible. It was all polished out. Did the knobs. That one had some scratches on it, but oh well, it's a test tool, right? So, but that's it. I'll take another video when I get it completely done. Oh yeah, and it's got a new battery in it now. This is the original battery holder that screws into the case, into the chassis. That'll get screwed in there, and that's a battery for the ohm meter. But yeah, it's coming along. There's the top side. You can see that I don't want to stand it up, but you can see I cleaned all of those potentiometers. They had all kinds of gook on them, or somebody tried to lock them in place, which I may do again once I have it calibrated. But until I get it running, I can't calibrate it. And the tubes are in place. But yeah, so it's done and awaiting installation into the chassis. And hopefully we'll have some good news regarding it working. I did go online. The guy said it came with leads. Unfortunately, it wasn't the proper leads. He just threw some leads in it, which is fine. I can always use more leads. But I did actually go online to eBay and find the vacuum tube voltmeter test probe parts kit where I can build my own. Everything's in there that I need. The guy actually made them specifically for this 221, but I was comparing what he had in his 221 kit to this one, and it was pretty much the same stuff. I'll have a little bit of stuff left over, but it was still cheaper to buy it and put it together myself than it was to buy his. Everything in here is what I need. The only thing that will be different is right here. This looks like it's I can't tell if it's a one. There's no point, but it's an 11 meg ohm resistor that goes into the DC probe. That on this particular meter needs to be a 15 meg ohm resistor, which I have. So when I build this, I'll put mine in there. So that's where we stand with the Eico 221. One other thing I did notice before I forget, that is not the original meter. I'm hoping that that meter actually works. The needle is free, but when I took it apart, I noticed that it had 4 mounting holes, and only 2 of them lined up. So I suspect it may not be the right meter. It looks correct, but I'm not positive, so we shall see.